Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ESL One Battlefield 4 Winter Group Stages. It's Group A, of course, our first group that we're going to be getting into over the coming weeks, and we are almost at the conclusion of tonight's show. It is going to be our elimination match between Om3ga and, of course, Enro Griffins.
Yeah, this is going to be an intriguing one, of course. Both these teams have already kind of felt the brunt of the stronger teams, both EGZ and Penta picking up the wins in those first two games. So now the losers have to battle it out for survival in this one. It's going to be Om3ga, the Greek side, kind of a very big roster, and almost kind of 10 players kind of tagging in and having a bit of fun. I think that's going to be the primary kind of word for this one. It could be a fun one. We have, of course, Enro Griffins, previously known as Team TK, as well, going up against them. So you have two rosters who both basically got points for participating, now going to kind of participate for survival.
Well, this is it. I mean, the fact is, yes, you get points for participating, but when it comes down to it, you still have to fight your way through these group stages. Now, the winner here will have a chance to play, I guess, the loser of the winner's game, which will be happening maybe later this week, I think, is what we'll see the conclusion of this one. So we're into this one here. It's going to be, yet again, Operation Locker. Now, between these two teams, it's going to be interesting. Now, you have to wonder as well, we've seen Enro on this map. We're pretty average, and Locker is Om3ga's choice here as well. So, will we see them come out with some cohesion? Will we see them have a battle plan, something like that? Or will it be just a case of them sort of struggling to break through Enro's fairly passive style?
Oh my god, was my microphone muted this whole time? I didn't. Okay. Hello. That's a shame. Don't know how I managed that. I must have somehow not pressed that button. That's unusual. Either way, I will go back and go ahead and not recap what I've said, but instead just bring you the action as we are going to be seeing. I'll believe that. Smooth does manage to retrieve that bomb, and we're going to be intrigued to see how far you can get with it. In the meantime, we are going to be seeing some frags kind of taking shape, and I'm completely thrown off by the fact that you haven't heard a word I've said.
Well, fortunately, you can make up for that now, so I wouldn't be worrying about it too much. Now, interestingly enough here, we actually see Enro the ones sort of pushing forward here. They've taken control of this middle part of the map here. Now, they have control of the stairs as well. So if you have the center house and the stairs, you have control of mid. What I want to see teams do is actually try and work on the outside. Oh, not too bad there by Thanatos on defense. They're able to take two out, but Lodrum will still be able to take him out. Will they push through on this one here? That's the question, because Enro, well, yeah, they will. They push straight through. So this is the first time we've really seen that from Enro, especially on this map here. But will they be able to hold out now as they get right up in the face of Om3ga? Smooth is going to push through as well. So they've all sort of bypassed that first hurdle, as I like to call it, that long corridor. And honestly, Om3ga are a little bit battered by this one here. Enro's seeming super confident, and they're going to go straight for the plant.
Yeah, so Enro kind of feeling like the aggressors in this instance at this point. 4 frags so far for Lodrum, as him and his band of merry men have managed to really demonstrate just how strong they can be. And now you're going to have to keep your eyes on the spawns. You have to keep your eyes peeled, because Enro are going to be able to kind of, hopefully, you would assume, control the flow of the Om3ga members back into the site. Now it's just Ghost and Johnny remaining. A reminder, though, for you guys, if you are familiar with these rosters, it's worth reminding that you have Thanatos, Extreme Style, Ghost Suit, Johnny 14, and Capriacus, as I've been making it up as I go along. Capracius.
We're just going to add stuff on there as well. Capracius?
Capracius.
It might be it. So the bomb's still ticking away here. It should no doubt is that ESL has actually been brought into the lineup for Enro. I actually saw him play last week for TK, so he seems like more of that regular member of the roster. But that MCOM's going to go up very quickly. That is honestly very impressive here from Enro. It's super hard to know how these two teams were going to go, because Om3ga showed us absolutely nothing against Penta, but then Enro were very lackluster as well. Penta arguably are a far more fearsome opposition than EGZ. And we're seeing Enro now maybe actually, showing us that they have what it takes in this particular matchup here. Their gunplay has been pretty good so far. They're confident. It might just be because they're not going up against, I don't know, known players. I really don't know what the difference has been here, but so far, we haven't seen Om3ga actually push out of their own territory once. It's kind of like night and day if you think about how Enro's been playing this map over our last 2 games.
Yeah, this is very unusual. I think you made the right point, the right kind of observation, that it is probably just a case of Enro being more comfortable up against this opponent, and now we're going to be seeing how much more comfortable they can be. Nice connection from Bryce, has managed to work his way into the opening pick. The bomb's loose though in Donut. We are going to be seeing the kind of the two platforms of this map. The Donut, of course, consists of an underground and an overground, and the underground has been primarily taken by Enro Take, actually, ironically. So he's going to be taking that one, and I can't stop saying the word take, as we are going to be seeing Thanatos and Johnny look to be the only real members of Omega who are considering an offense.
The thing is here, something that has to be in the back of the mind for Enro is that they will probably have to play EGZ again in the second elimination match. I expect EGZ to lose to Penta just with how strong Penta have been and how experienced they are. So there is a point where you can respect your opponent too much, give them too much respect. You almost fear to play your own style of game against them. I had the same thing back when I was playing Call of Duty. You know, I was going up against top teams and I'd be like, I wasn't playing like myself. I was always in the back of my head thinking, man, these guys are so good. Like, how are we going to win this one? Without just doing it. I didn't just do it. I just sort of was always thinking about that. So that's something that you need to not think about. You need to almost have a bit of no respect play when you're going up against your opponent and hope that that is going to be enough to carry you through on sort of pure virtue of your skill. But we can see here that Ghost is trying to make his way in from the outside. He wants some control of mid, but I feel like the rest of your team could probably use him on the ground here at this stage. We'll see what he can do. The problem is, right, the fog in the door makes it a little bit harder to spot your opponent before they see you. It's an inherent advantage playing from the inside, and I guess that makes good sense. But yeah, I mean, to stand out in the open there with a 44 Magnum and hope to get a headshot, not really playing percentages that well.
Again, we have that standout on the outside area. It's going to be Cupcake then who picks that one up. 4 frags for him so far. As we are going to be seeing this kind of constant battle in this kind of dueling scenario between 2 individuals to try and desperately keep that flank safe. Caprakius did manage to pick that one up, and we are going to be seeing it again. This is a very standstill kind of game from Enro. As soon as they got that 1M construction, they haven't made too many leaps and bounds towards getting a second, rather just kind of holding middle. Like, you can quite literally, if you zoom out, I was going to say you can see Omega are locked out, but no.
What is that positioning?
Look at this. They've managed to creep and crawl all the way around.
Now, the problem, well, I mean, this could work, right? But they're on the bottom level, so they can't actually directly challenge the players in the middle of the map here. They can get back and reinforce their team via those lower levels or try and find their way up. So we'll have to see now as Johnny is up on those stairs. Bombs outside, and they are chasing that one down now as well. He can see the reticle. He can see that player. And he gets taken down as well. That's devastating. 2 players flanking. 2 players now dead. That's 2 players that Omega could have used to actually defend the direct approach. But here's Smooth going to get the plant down.
This is gorgeous from Enro. They've managed to completely position themselves, out-position the enemy, out-frag the enemy, and they've only gone and got away with 4 players still standing and an MCOM now under threat. Caprakius does go down as well. Now it comes down to Take, who is creeping and crawling behind John. Oh, but John gets the better. He is the last man standing, and he's out of there as well. It looks like Enro Griffins are going to pick up a second MCOM already here in this one, as they are going to be spawning in. It's going to be just down to Ghost before. Let's see if I can get to him before the defuse does come in. And no, we aren't going to be seeing him miles away from that site, 200 meters no less. And we're going to be seeing a little bit of a problem encountered, as it's going to be a bit of a couple of seconds. You can see that there was 1 man holding the corner. It's going to be Take, who does just have to go down in the nick of time. Bryce was holding the tight angle. Enro have most definitely acquired this MCOM destruction. That's going to be the conclusive first and final nail in the first half of our first map here in our final best of 3 of tonight's games.
Conclusive is a good word to use there. There's no doubt that Enro are looking the stronger team right now. And I don't want to harp on this, but it's seeing Enro go up against a team earlier on and play a certain way. The difference between those games wasn't Enro's ability to win gunfights. It wasn't that they are now actually able to win those 1v1s. They're actually playing a different style. They're playing differently. Why not apply this approach to a game like the earlier game and see how you go with that as well? And
the point that you're kind of making is enhanced by the fact that we have just seen Enro on this map, like quite literally against a different opponent just before, and it looks so different. Like, I mean, you said night and day. It is quite literally, the difference between pushing and trying to make plays as opposed to being a very reactive team who just waits and sees what the opponent does to them. Very, very good point you're making, and I think it's going to be intriguing if we do get the opportunity, yes, tomorrow, to see these guys go up against EGZ again, whether or not there is some sort of kind of change on the Enro side. Because this looks better. This looks much more kind of, I mean, it fills me with more confidence for Enro Griffins and their kind of survival in this group stage. Of course, we are kind of harping on about Enro Griffins. Omega falling foul to their play, 2-0 scoreline in that first half here on our first map. And that means, of course, that just 1 MCOM destruction would be enough, assuming Omega don't manage to acquire anything in the process. So it could very well be spelling trouble, and we could be setting our sights on our second map, which is locked in to be Zavod, which was the choice of Enro.
Yeah, haven't seen Zavod yet tonight, actually, so interested to see how that one sort of plays out. We've seen a fair bit of Locker, seen some Siege and some Dawnbreakers, so throwing that one in the mix here as well, and especially being a pick for Enro, could definitely change things up. I mean, this is the thing. This is Omega's pick, and we're sitting, we're reclining in our chairs here before the game, going, yes, well, you see, Omega have picked this map, so they must have a strategy in place. Well, I don't know. It doesn't really seem like it, to be honest. They, I don't know. They're waiting for an opening, but no one is trying to create one. It's like, it's hoping that
it's a paradox.
It's hoping
really,
that a tree is going to sprout in front of you without actually planting anything or watering anything. It's like you hope for something to occur without actually laying any groundwork. So
that's a good analogy,
it's not really it's not really logical. It doesn't really make sense to do that. So Omega, I'd like to see them now in this half change things up. I'd like to see them be a bit more aggressive about the bomb. I'd like to see them contest that middle area a little bit more. Use the outside of the map. Get your way over towards those stairs and create some opportunities. But here it is. We're going to be jumping into the second half here. It's time for Omega to really show us what they're made of and really get into this one here, because honestly, they looked average last half. They looked quiet. They looked diminished. It's time to wake up.
It is time. Let's see how this one shapes up, as already Enro are just charging in. What is this? This is already a complete counter to what we saw from them in their previous game up against EGZ. And now all four of them have pushed all in. I say all four, that's because, of course, the fifth is wrapping around as well. Did manage to see Take. Not actually managed to take too much away from that one. Instead, it's going to be Smooth, who is looking to keep that bomb safe. Bryce already finds one. Thanatos down. 3 players already fallen from Omega. And I mean, this is in a fraction of a second after the game has already started, and already the bodies are starting to stack up for the Greek side. The bomb's even going in. Look at this. It's already just under a minute before the round started, and they've covered enough ground to get the bomb down.
And Johnny killed his teammate, and Johnny killed his teammate, and then he sort of died himself there. So, I mean, Omega are helping themselves out here at all. Now, Enro coming forward, they can be aggressive here because they know one more MCOM detonation will end the game. There will be no chance for Omega to even get themselves back into this one here. Now, it's pretty much, very much back and forth fighting. It's pretty messy stuff here. As you can see, Thanatos is able to get a kill. He will just try and hang on here now as Smooth, though he's doing some serious work. He will take down Extreme. So gets the second kill with the same clip of that G18. That's a squad wipe, and that's it. I really don't think Omega can come back from this one now. They're spawning from the outside of the map, and Enro have just completely shaken them to the core.
What a stylish way to acquire your first map victory in this best of 3. I mean, that could very well be setting the tone, setting the pace, as we do turn our attention then to Zavod, which is going to be our second map in this one. I was not expecting that, to be honest. I thought that we'd just seen Omega looking rather weak because their opponent was Penta. Yeah. That was my assumption, and I think sometimes you can kind of get too much from an assumption. There's a reason that it makes an ass out of you and me, is because you can really kind of be a trip over yourself. I think that's just a case of Omega not being up to scratch. They are obviously a team that are struggling against Enro. They struggled against Penta. We haven't seen too many glimmers of hope for them in terms of just fragging. And it feels like every time I cast Battlefield now, I have to bring up FPS 101. Winning fights, shooting people. Yep. They weren't doing that, and they're not doing that right now, and that's what needs to change.
The reality is it's an objective game now, but kills translate into objectives. Well, they can. We saw Enro sort of stumble at that particular hurdle on Siege of Shanghai, but that's how you do it. Now, think on this as well. We're seeing that Enro, we thought Omega were only struggling because it was Penta, but now with Enro completely demolishing them here, and I'll say that, they're demolishing them, that should say a lot about how far ahead Penta is here. How emphatic their performance was as well, because EGZ were able to obviously get that win against Enro. And then, I mean, we can play scissors, paper, rock and go, well, he beat him, so he beat him, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, Penta are a long way ahead if they can, inflict that kind of pain towards Enro, who, towards Omega, who then will also get dominated. So just things to think on here now, of course, as we head into our next map. I don't know if it'll be a long one here. This is obviously Enro's choice as well. So not only do they start very, very strong, but they start very, very strong on the map of Omega's choice. And it's funny because you choose a map and then you don't really choose to go for the throat, or you don't really... You always wonder about set strategies here. Like, what's the plan for some of these teams when they spend so much time sitting back and not doing much?
It's not like it's a surprise that Omega chose to take it into locker. They picked it in their first game as well. That was their map choice and proceeded to get completely demolished by Penta on it. Now they brought it into this one after watching, I would assume, Enro Griffins play, because they were given a break after losing their first game. They had an opportunity to watch their opponents compete, and they saw them play on locker. Maybe they thought they had a trick up their sleeve. It wasn't clear to me. I think that was just a case of we only know how to play locker. Like, this is our favorite map. I'm not going to start speculating too much into this, especially in the lower brackets of Battlefield. So with 20 seconds left, we are going to be going ahead and kind of preparing to see Enro Griffins potentially demonstrate and give Om3ga a lesson or two on Zavod. Of course, that's another assumption, and I've already highlighted that that can come back to bite me in the backside. So it's going to be an intriguing one either way, guys. Just 7 seconds before we do jump on into this one, and it's going to be a question of, can the Greeks take us into a third map, or is this going to be an all-German affair?
I love this map, I really do. It's fantastic, the way that obviously that teams sort of play around this one. Now, we have one player spawning in right at the top there for Om3ga, so I find that interesting. He will not be contesting this bomb, but 4 players from Om3ga are actually converging on that bomb, which is obviously spawning in the south. So a little bit of fighting will occur towards the middle of the map first of all, and then we'll start to see them transition off that hill and head towards these factories. But Thanatos already wants to lay some groundwork here for Om3ga. He needs to hit the shots to do that first. That's definitely important, as Take is taking his time over on these hills towards the south. Yeah,
and I mean, I'm intrigued by how much impact he's going to have, because he's keeping, it looks like 3 people busy.
Yeah.
That's rather impressive. Spurker's on his way as well. Or Spriker. Spriker?
Spriker, I call him.
Spriker. That's very Australian. I'm going to take that.
Very harsh.
Spriker. That was the wrong accent. That was the wrong
Laddie,
accent.
you know.
I don't know where that was not Australian, I'll tell you that much. Either way, we are going to be seeing Spriker go down, and I'm just going to stop embarrassing myself as best I can now. Take on the run, though. He has managed to retrieve the bomb, and we didn't see too much from that investment of Thanatos. He has kind of ended up just hanging out by the tanks, not really making too much of an impact. And talking of impact, I think Take's about to hit the plant on the site, and there's 0 players really in a position to stop him. Johnny has got the spawn in, but so have Enro. There's 3 players there, and they're ready and waiting to assault B. Well,
this is a good start for them there. At least Johnny's going to be able to hold on now as able to take down Spricker, but there's going to be a lot more plays where he came from for Enro as they continue to come forward. That's a second for Johnny, but look at the bomb. It's clear of this fight. It's headed towards north, and I don't want to harp on mental bandwidth, but no one was watching where the bomb was going, and Take will be able to at least get a plant. He needs to head for the hills, literally, in the coming moments now, and get some spawns in on him. Ooh. Sit back and watch that one now. He was one of the last players in his squad. He's getting shot at. He'll make it, though, only just. 11
points of health, and now he has an opportunity. The defuse is going to be coming in, though. You can see it's going to be Krakius who's going for it, and Take knows he's got very little time to try and pick that bomb. He's not peeking, and it is going to be a successful defuse. No, it's not. It's still going. Extreme Style now is going to be stepping up to the plate, but time could be favoring them. Spricker just needs to peek it. The rocket comes in. It does look like the defuse is going to be successful. Just in the nick of time, the bomb is loose, but the replant is coming in straight away. Spricker, big frags from him, and now Enro, they've got numbers this time, and the pressure is reapplied.
That was very ambitious play by Take there to go for a solo plant and then try and hold it on his own. It was the correct response from Om3ga as well to put a lot of their players up on towards that hill, but just enough time for Enro, I guess the second wave of respawns to come in here, and I would be surprised if Om3ga can get there. I think that was their chance to defuse. They fluffed it up, and they've got to push into what's going to be a concentrated setup here from Enro. The Germans are going to be holding onto this one as well. Look at this, they can't even approach the bomb because they've got so much cover from the hillside. That's Thanatos, the last man standing. He's going to at least give himself a friend with a revive, but that bomb surely is too far away for them to really affect here now. Thanatos gets fortunate on that kill, but that bomb should go up.
Yeah, he didn't even manage to pick it up himself. Actually requiring Johnny to finish the final shot, but we are going to be seeing Enro both get frags and an MCOM destruction. And folks, this could be one hell of a quick final game as well. Enro destroying the MCOM, destroying their opponent. And it does seem like Om3ga have kind of ended up in a group stage a little out of their depth.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, this is the reality of it, though. I mean, you have to play these teams to improve, but Enro definitely seem to be a step ahead in almost every single way. Now the bomb, again, spawns towards the bottom, and Spricker, oh, he's in the bunker. That's cheeky. He will get one. Won't go for a follow-up on that one. There was another player around. He's going to go for the G18 kill. He gets it. That was pretty sharp. Oh! That was beautiful stuff from Spricker. He won't make it a 4th, though. My heart probably couldn't take it anyway, but still, putting a lot of damage down there. The respawns were coming in fairly rapidly there for Om3ga, so it didn't really mean much in the grand scheme of things, but yeah, it goes Take. He's got the bomb. He should go to B here because he has a player defending that now, and you can see that Om3ga realize they need to hot-foot it out of that forest and down towards those factories.
Spricker kept 4 members busy. It's like Om3ga just kind of went, oh, he's killed a couple of us, let's invest, and they sent as many as they could towards that spawn, of course, the distant spawn. And in the meantime, the bomb's picked up. Take's just gone on a wild goose chase again, and this time he's going to find his target on B. Beautiful stuff from Enro.
Couple kills coming out here at least, though, for the moment from Om3ga. Capricious, I think, got one as well. And see, Johnny's going to be sitting back for some reason. Don't know. That's fine. I think someone's up in the north here. In the meantime, his team just gets absolutely decimated. And they're going to now go subterranean. They're going to work their way through this tunnel. There should be an Enro player waiting for these two right now. So I don't know what Johnny's doing. I absolutely have no idea. He's eventually going to have to spring into action or just die, and it was the latter that actually occurred to him there. So doing absolutely nothing but bird watching there, unfortunately, and that is going to hurt his team now. They're down to Thanatos, they're down to Extreme Style, and now they're down to absolutely bugger all. That bomb is going to go up.
That's going to be the end then of our first half. In quick succession, we see 2 squad wipes and an MCOM destruction, and I just saw a player from Om3ga leave. A little premature on that one. I do hope they are not kind of succumbing to the rage potentially within their communications.
Well, maybe even a defuse, but either way, that was very underwhelming. Johnny there. Well, no, Johnny actually getting 7 kills. So apparently hiding in corners behind foliage can actually net you some frags.
I mean, I'd understand if their bomb wasn't down because his position would have enabled a couple of spawns, but it wasn't the case. Instead, he could have been, you know, stopping the plant, trying to retake the site, and he did neither of those things. And yeah, we are being it feels a little overly critical of Om3ga, but there is very little positive to be said currently about their play. They are having a lot of problems, and so far fragging capacity is very minor. 3 players currently, unable to break 3 frags is a big statement in itself.
Yep. Absolutely. So this is something they're going to have to be thinking about and working on now as we look towards their second half. Again, Enro just will need 1 more detonation. That's all they need, and so they're going to get aggressive, and why not? Someone said GG. No, I'm not sure. Well, we're going to be going now into our second half. So, look, Om3ga, at the very least they can save face here as well. The playstyle just doesn't seem to lend itself in a great way towards countering what Enro are trying to do. I don't really... I'm no expert, I'll be honest with you. I'm not a Battlefield expert, but seeing some of their setups here as well definitely raise some questions. And look, it's a 5v5 game, but if Sprigga can hold back 4 players on his own, then you're probably going to be in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, he was not only was he holding players back, but he was also managing to kind of pick up frags. I think it was 3, no, was it 4 at the end of that one? Yeah, 4 that he managed to find with a G18, running around with a silenced pistol, just causing havoc. And yeah, when a couple of individuals, a couple of your opponents are managing to do that, that's the sign that you need to work on the basics before working into going to any degree of depth.
So now the situation, of course, they're staring down the barrel of a loss here as well. This is the elimination game. So, it's going to be Om3ga bowing out here, which is, of course, a shame. But this is just the way it goes sometimes. I mean, I hope to see them in the next season as well. I hope to see them sort of show up and, get involved. But for the moment here as well, they have to sort of accept that this one is now getting out of hand. They need 2 MCOM detonations in the second half. That'll take them to overtime. And then they need to obviously get the win in overtime. So there's obviously a lot of things that they need to achieve here for victory to come around. So a long road for them. If that's going to be one that they're even going to be able to take here, I would sort of err on the side of thinking that it's just a learning experience for them now, and they just have to gain as much experience from this as they possibly can. As Enro looking good, but they also have to be thinking about EGZ as well. They've got some time to prepare for that. They can watch the VODs, they can do all that sort of stuff, and that at least will allow them to prepare. Yeah,
of course, that game will be played tomorrow at the same time. So, I mean, it's going to be a couple of kind of exciting hours, I think, potentially for Enro if they have time to prepare for that one, trying to beat the team that did very much kind of surpass them, especially in that second map after keeping quite close on Shanghai. Now, though, let's jump into the action as it is Om3ga's final chance. The final gauntlet has been thrown down. This is their last opportunity to stay afloat in the ESL One Battlefield 4 Winter of 2015 season. This is it. It looks like already that Caprecious is going to be taking a whole lot of fire. He's going to be able to get away Dart to safety, but in the meantime, we are going to be seeing the same move from Om3ga. Even on the other side, they send Thanatos on a kind of lone wolf doing nothing mission.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think his mission obviously is to do something here, I guess, but it doesn't matter. If Enro end up getting the bomb and they end up getting a big win, in terms of the fight over Om3ga, then Thanatos' position is kind of nullified really, because he could. It's all about where could you be of most use to your team. Right now, Thanatos is maybe sitting back. Maybe he's expecting a lurker as well, going the 1v1, kind of like if you are outside on. Oh god! Wow, that was unfortunate for Capricious there.
Oh dear.
2 players left for Om3ga.
That's gonna sting. Absolutely, that is gonna be a tough pill to swallow, as we are gonna be seeing the bomb make moves. Sprigga is the one equipping that one towards B. He's gonna be charging towards the location. It looks like Take's gonna be able to provide some support, some moral support, as well as maybe some air support. As from the other side of things, it's gonna be Johnny. Who is going to be going down very, very swiftly. Good defense from Enro as they are guiding. And actually, look at this. They're not rushing towards B. Instead, they're taking their time. And actually, looks like he's going to be given the full path all the way towards the more preferred C side. Once the bomb goes down here, you can start shooting toes underneath, and it makes it very, very difficult to defend, to assault, excuse me.
See, Extreme Style was actually still alive, and he had his back turned to the entire conflict. He was actually looking down towards the south of the map, trying to go one-on-one against another sort of player here. So very much a matter of, you know, getting the wool pulled over their eyes now. You can see Spricka will be receiving this one. Thanatos there. Just making their way slowly through. Enro is, well, sitting back for the moment. Are they not spawning in? They may only choose to spawn in when they're needed on one player. That's possible. Breast and Spricka haven't actually spawned in. They don't need him. Oh dear. Takes down the Ghost there, and it's just Thanatos left. And oh, he's got a big job on his hands. I don't really know. That's a squad wipe there. That is that. We have seen 3 very, very one-sided matches today, Alex.
Most definitely we have, Mitch, as that's going to be wrapping it up, and Om3ga Esports have floundered with a complete loss streak, yet to pick up a win so far in the ESL One Winter Series. And that's going to be a tough, and I mean, it's going to be a sad case for them as they have, you know, been committed to this one. They turned up every single week, gave it their best shot in some capacity with some form of roster. Haven't managed to have anything to show for it, really. But, I mean, they got to the groups. They got to experience a game against Penta Esports. They got to play a game now up against their opponents, Enro Griffins. So they've definitely had more opportunities than they normally would get in the regular season to stretch their legs and to play some Battlefield.
Absolutely. I mean, and for them, it's you got to go from strength to strength as well and rebuild. If you're still going to commit yourself to Battlefield in that way, then look back at this stuff and you know, sort of make a run at it next season. So there's your updated bracket, ladies and gentlemen. So tomorrow night, we will be seeing 2 very important matches. First thing is going to be Penta Sports versus Evolution Gamer. The winner qualifies for our Cologne finals. The loser goes down towards that sort of lower bracket game, and then they have to fight as well to qualify. So Enro Griffins, with that win there, they can qualify still, even after losing that first match. But Evolution Gamers were the ones that sent them down to that lower bracket in a 2-0 stomping. So, you know, they definitely need to be bringing something a little bit more special for us on our next match night.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be one of those ones which actually is determined by how Evolution Gamers play in their first game. So let me just kind of set the scene for this one. Penta versus Evolution Gamers. If Evolution Gamers have done their homework and Penta underperform and they win, that's almost completely written the fate for Enro Griffins. So if Evolution Gamers can really step up, they in turn affect Enro Griffin's standings, because Penta are no doubt the top seed and the favourites for this one. It's a battle for second, as Mitch kind of dubbed. And so we have to really kind of keep our eyes set on how Evolution Gamers perform in their first game. If they, you know, give Penta a good fight, then Enro aren't going to be quaking in their boots. But one of those 2 teams, or excuse me, 3, that's not completely, they're not gods. One of those 3 teams is going to be going home tomorrow.
Absolutely. And it will be tomorrow night as well. So ladies and gentlemen, it's been a fairly quick night here for us, but we have seen some exciting Battlefield action. And tomorrow night it'll be myself and Lauren Pansy-Scott to bring you the culmination of Group A. Now, Alex, any last words before we wrap things up here? It's been a fairly cut and dry evening, I'd like to think.
Yeah, it's been a quick one, and that's just testament to the kind of the skill gap between the highest Battlefield cream of the crop and the lowest.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you here. Tomorrow night, it's going to be 7 p.m. CET, right here, same channel. We're going to find out the 2 teams from Group A that'll be going forward into the finals. But ladies and gentlemen, until then, we'll see you on the battlefield.
See you.